What if I told you that everything you've been working for could fall into place by simply focusing on yourself and staying silent? It sounds simple, right? But it's more powerful than you might think. We live in a world full of noise, distractions, and pressure to perform. But what if the key to success was not to chase after everything, but to first master your own mind, habits, and actions? What if the secret to achieving your goals and finding peace is found in quieting the outside world and putting your energy into the one person who truly matters? Yourself. In this video, we're going to explore how shifting your focus inward and committing to self-mastery can unlock doors you didn't even know existed. Stay tuned, because this could change the way you see your entire life and future. Number 1, build a stronger mindset before chasing job success. Most people are working harder on their job than they are on themselves. And that's exactly why they feel stuck. That's why they feel tired all the time. That's why it seems like life isn't changing even when they're putting in effort. The job may pay the bills, but working on yourself will build the life you want. You can chase promotions. You can chase recognition. But if your mindset is weak, if your habits are broken, and if your thinking is outdated, you will stay in the same loop no matter how hard you work at the office. It doesn't matter how many hours you spend at your job if your attitude, your beliefs, and your self-image haven't been upgraded. Your job may demand 8 or 9 hours a day, but your mindset is working every second. It's active when you wake up. It's working when you're stuck in traffic. It's shaping your reaction when you hear bad news. It's guiding your choices when you're alone. So if you don't take control of it, life will do it for you. And when life takes control of your mind, you start reacting instead of leading. You stop choosing and start settling. A stronger mindset means you're not waiting for things to get easier. It means you decide to become tougher. You decide to build inner discipline. You decide to respond with calm when others panic. You decide to keep going when things feel uncomfortable. This isn't motivational talk. This is how real life works. The world respects people who know how to manage themselves, not just their tasks. If you want more out of life, then you have to be more. And being more starts with thinking better. The truth is, most people are not mentally prepared for success. They want it, but they can't carry the weight of it. They break down under pressure. They overthink every move. They chase comfort instead of challenge. That's not because they're weak. It's because they haven't trained their mind. And that's the biggest gap between where people are and where they want to be. It's not the economy. It's not their boss. It's not their coworkers. It's how they think when they're alone. It's what they believe about themselves when no one is watching. Building a stronger mindset doesn't happen in one weekend. It's a daily process. It means being honest with yourself when you fall short. It means refusing to make excuses. It means taking responsibility for how you act, even when you're frustrated. And it means staying committed even when your emotions try to take over. The world doesn't hand out rewards for effort. It rewards results. And to produce results, you need to have the mental strength to stay consistent when others quit. Every day that you don't build your mindset, you're reinforcing the one that holds you back. Every time you say, "That's just how I am," you're choosing comfort over growth. Every time you avoid something hard, you're weakening your belief in yourself. So if you want to succeed, not just survive, you need to make yourself the priority, not your job, not your title. It's easy to get caught up in what your job wants from you. The meetings, the deadlines, the performance reviews. But ask yourself this: what do you want from yourself? Are you showing up with self-respect? Are you disciplined? Are you growing? Because if you don't answer those questions honestly, no promotion or paycheck will fill that emptiness. You'll always feel behind. You'll always feel unsatisfied. Because it's not the job that's failing you. It's that you haven't trained yourself to lead your own life. If you only grow when your boss tells you to, you're not growing, you're following. If you only read when there's a requirement, you're not developing, you're just reacting. If you only improve your attitude when someone else demands it, you're not in control, you're surviving. A stronger mindset means you decide to grow because it matters to you, because you refuse to stay the same. Because you know you can't lead others until you lead yourself. This isn't about quitting your job. It's about changing your identity. You're not an employee. You're a builder of your own life. You're not just a worker. You're the architect of your character. You can be excellent at your job and still feel lost in life if you haven't built yourself first. Because skills without confidence won't carry you far. And talent without discipline falls apart under pressure. There's a reason why some people rise faster than others. It's not luck. It's not charm. It's mindset. It's how they handle setbacks. It's how they control their time. It's how they talk to themselves when nobody's around. You'll never outperform your self-image. If you see yourself as average, you'll act average. If you carry doubts everywhere you go, you'll sabotage your chances, even when they're good. That's why the work you do on yourself is the most important work of your life. Because you take that version of you everywhere. You want to be respected? Start with respecting yourself. Get up on time. Stop making excuses. Handle your emotions without blaming others. Learn something new every single day. Cut out distractions that waste your focus. Choose actions that match the life you say you want. That's how you build a mindset that can handle growth. That's how you stop being a slave to the demands of the world and become the one setting the pace. Some people will disagree. They'll say your job is what gives you stability. But here's the truth. Stability is not found in a paycheck. It's found in your habits. It's found in how you think. You can lose a job, but you can't lose discipline. You can lose a position, but you can't lose integrity. That's why building yourself first is the smartest investment you can ever make. It can't be taken away. It grows with time, and it pays you for the rest of your life. Now you don't have to wait for a big moment to get started. You don't need a crisis to change your life. You don't need someone else to motivate you. You just need to make a decision. One decision to stop living below your potential. One decision to stop blaming your job for your life. One decision to work harder on your thinking than your tasks. Because once your mind is strong, there is nothing in the world that can defeat you permanently. You might fall, you might struggle, but you will never stay down. You'll always get back up stronger. That's what a solid mindset does. It doesn't avoid pain, it overcomes it. So today the challenge is simple. Choose to train your mind with the same intensity you use at work. Choose to face your fears. Choose to build your patience. Choose to say no to things that waste your time. Choose to raise your standards. Not because someone told you to, but because you finally believe you're capable of more. You may not control every event, but you do control how you respond. That control comes from your mindset. That mindset doesn't come from chance. It comes from daily work. So if you really want to succeed, stop looking outside, start building inside, and keep building until you no longer need to be pushed. Because now you're leading yourself. If you're not building your mindset, you're letting life build it for you. And life doesn't always build it with love. It builds it with pressure, with distractions, with comparison, with criticism. But when you take ownership, you rise above all that. You don't react emotionally. You respond wisely. You don't depend on outside validation. You create your own confidence. You don't wait for opportunity. You prepare for it daily. You can't lie to yourself and expect real growth. If you say you want to improve but you keep choosing laziness, nothing changes. If you say you want peace but you keep choosing chaos, you stay stuck. You have to be honest. And honesty hurts sometimes. But it's that pain that will show you where to improve. It's that pain that will keep you grounded. It's that pain that will keep you real. So start being real with yourself. Real about your weaknesses. Real about your patterns. Real about what needs to change. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be honest. From that place you can begin the real work. The kind of work that doesn't just improve your income but improves your life. The moment you start working harder on yourself than your job, you'll start to feel alive again. You'll stop waiting for Friday to feel free. You'll stop living for weekends. Because now you're building something that belongs to you. A strong mindset, a focused mind, a clear purpose, a life you can be proud of. And when you have that, no job title can define you. And no setback can stop you. because now you're finally in charge of you. Number 2, push yourself daily to grow beyond your paycheck. If all you ever do is work for your paycheck, you'll always live by someone else's rules. You'll always stay within someone else's limits. That check might keep the lights on, but it won't light up your future. You were made for more than survival. You were made to grow, to lead, to stretch, to build something that belongs to you. But that only happens when you push yourself daily. Not once in a while. Not when it's convenient. Every single day you need to make a decision to grow beyond the numbers on your paycheck. Because the money you make today is a reflection of the person you've become up to this point. If you want to earn more, live better, feel fulfilled, you've got to become more. Nobody is going to push you the way life will when you decide to take control. Your boss might care about the bottom line, but it's not their job to care about your potential. That's your responsibility. That's your job. You have to look at your time and ask yourself what you're doing with it beyond work hours. Are you learning something useful? Are you sharpening your thinking? Are you challenging the limits you've set for yourself? Because if not, then you're choosing comfort over growth. You're choosing security over expansion. And over time, that comfort becomes a trap. A paycheck is a trade. Time for money. But if all your time goes into work that doesn't make you stronger, you're just repeating a cycle that never ends. Real freedom starts when you use your time to build yourself. And I mean every day. Not once a week when you're in the mood. Every day. Growth doesn't wait for motivation. It rewards discipline. It rewards those who push themselves even when they're tired. Even when no one's watching. Even when it feels like progress is slow. Because small growth done consistently creates massive change over time. You have to start seeing your growth as more important than your tasks. There's nothing wrong with doing your job well. But doing it well is the bare minimum. What are you doing beyond the job that's making you valuable? What are you building inside that makes you unstoppable? What are you developing that nobody can take from you? Because your paycheck can disappear tomorrow. But your mindset, your knowledge, your self-discipline, those are yours forever. And those are the things that determine how far you go, not your title. Pushing yourself daily means being intentional. You can't grow by accident. You have to wake up with a goal. You have to stop wasting time on things that don't push you forward. You have to stop waiting for someone to give you permission. The world will always keep you busy if you don't create your own priorities. You'll always have something to do. Emails, meetings, chores. But growth is about choosing what matters most, not just what's urgent. It's about saying no to distractions and yes to the future you want. You don't need to spend hours each day reading books or taking courses. You just need to stop wasting the time you already have. Stop scrolling mindlessly. Stop numbing yourself with entertainment. Start asking real questions. Start seeking real answers. Start creating routines that force you to think better. If you're not uncomfortable, you're not changing. And if you're not changing, you're not growing. Growth isn't always exciting. It's often hard. It's lonely. It forces you to face truths you've been avoiding. It makes you look at your bad habits. It demands that you do better. Not because someone is watching, but because you respect yourself. That kind of growth turns you into the kind of person who doesn't just earn money. You attract opportunities. People start noticing. Life starts shifting. Not because you got lucky, but because you earned it from the inside out. There's no magic formula to this. It's just daily effort. It's getting up a little earlier so you can train your mind before the world starts pulling at you. It's staying up a little later to finish something you said you would. It's being honest when you're slipping. It's pushing through when motivation disappears. That's how you separate yourself. That's how you grow beyond your paycheck. Because the people who rise the fastest are the ones who invest in themselves the longest. It doesn't take genius. It takes grit. It takes hunger. It takes being tired of living beneath your potential. If you've got that fire inside you, protect it. Use it. Don't waste it on things that keep you small. Don't give it away to people who don't share your vision. Focus it on the habits that move you forward. The decisions that make you better. The work that builds your foundation. That's how you turn a paycheck into a stepping stone, not a ceiling. You have to stop seeing work as your whole life. It's part of your life. It's a tool. But your life is what happens before and after. That paycheck. It's the time you spend growing, thinking, improving. And if you want to experience more freedom, more success, more pride in yourself, then you have to work harder on your mind than you do on your tasks. Because your tasks can be outsourced. Your personal growth can't. There will be days when you feel like it's not working. When you don't see results right away. When no one notices your effort. Those are the days that matter most. Those are the days when you prove that you're serious. Anyone can work hard when they feel inspired. Few can work hard when they feel unseen. But if you keep going, if you keep choosing growth, one day you'll look back and realize that you've built something no one can take away from you. A sharper mind, a stronger will, a better life. So don't waste another day just chasing money. Chase who you could become. Push yourself to build discipline. Push yourself to get better at thinking. Push yourself to stop settling for what's easy. You were not meant to just survive. You were meant to expand, to lead, to set a new standard for yourself. And that only happens when you decide that growing beyond your paycheck is not optional. It's necessary. And once you make that decision, your life will never be the same again. Number 3, discipline your habits to upgrade your personal value. You can't grow as a person without disciplining your habits. You can't expect your life to get better if you keep doing things that hold you back. Change doesn't come from wishing or hoping. It comes from training yourself to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like it. You must understand that every habit you repeat is either pulling you forward or dragging you backward. There's no neutral habit. Every one of them is shaping your value, your strength, your focus, and your results. If you want to become more valuable, not just to others, but to yourself, you need to take a hard look at what you do every day. Not what you say you'll do, not what you plan on doing, what you actually do. Look at your mornings. Look at your evenings. Look at how you respond to boredom, stress, pressure. That's where your real habits live. That's where your future is being built, whether you realize it or not. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your habits. And if those habits are weak, no goal will carry you. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You need stronger daily standards. You need to raise the bar on yourself, because no one is coming to save you. No one is going to force you to eat right. Wake up early, read books, work on your mind, or control your impulses. That's on you. That's what separates the people who change their lives from those who keep talking about it. Discipline is what upgrades your personal value, not talent, not luck, not approval, just consistent action in the right direction. Some people wait for a breakdown to change. They wait for something to go wrong, a health scare, a job loss, a relationship failure. But you don't need to wait for pain to start improving yourself. You can decide today to build better habits because you know you deserve a better life. You can choose to break out of your patterns because you're tired of being stuck. There's no magic moment. There's just a decision. A line in the sand where you say enough is enough and you take control. You have to stop negotiating with your weakness. That voice in your head that tells you to skip the hard things, that voice needs to lose power. And the only way it loses power is when you stop listening to it. Every time you do the right thing when it's hard, you weaken that voice. Every time you take action instead of giving in, you build strength. And that strength adds up. Day by day, your standards get higher. You stop tolerating laziness in yourself. You stop settling for average effort. You stop accepting things that drain your energy. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about direction. It's about doing the right thing more often than the wrong one. It's about choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It's about looking at your future and asking, is this habit helping me get there or not? And if the answer is no, you remove it. You replace it. You don't give it room to live in your life. Because every time you give into it, you give away your power. You'll never feel like changing. So stop waiting for the feeling. The most disciplined people in the world don't feel like doing the hard things either, but they do them anyway. That's what makes them who they are. They've trained themselves to move even when the mind resists. They've built routines that protect them from their worst impulses. They've set boundaries that keep them focused, and that's why they grow. You don't need to copy anyone's habits. You just need to create ones that fit your life and support your growth. You need a set of habits that challenge your laziness, that force you to think clearly, that keep you grounded when life throws stress your way. Habits that align with your values. habits that make you proud. And once you build those, you protect them. You don't let distractions destroy them. You don't let bad days ruin them. You treat them like gold because they are the foundation of your personal value. Most people never build discipline because they want comfort more than change. They want progress without pressure. But growth doesn't work that way. You have to break the old version of you to build the new one. And that's not easy. It's not supposed to be. That's why most people stay the same year after year. But if you want to rise, you have to be different. You have to think differently. You have to act differently. You have to stop blaming the world and take full control of your habits. Discipline shows up when no one else is around, when no one is watching, and no one will know if you skip it or not. That's the moment of truth. That's when your real self comes out. And if you can train yourself to stay consistent, even in silence, you become powerful. You become dangerous in the best way. Because now you're not relying on others to keep you going. You're powered by purpose. You're driven by standards. And that makes you unstoppable. You will have setbacks. That's normal. You'll slip. You'll miss a day. You'll make mistakes. But discipline is not about being perfect. It's about never giving up on the standard. It's about picking yourself up and getting back to the routine. It's about looking at your slip and learning from it, not using it as an excuse to quit. The people who win in life are not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who refuse to stop building. You have to stop calling it small just because no one else sees it. Waking up early is not small. Saying no to junk food is not small. Choosing to read instead of scrolling is not small. These are decisions that shape your character. These are choices that build a new version of you, one that earns more, thinks sharper, and lives with confidence. You don't grow by accident. You grow by effort. You grow by taking your habits seriously. There's a direct link between your daily discipline and the quality of your life. If you want more respect, build habits that make you respectable. If you want more peace, create habits that protect your mind. If you want more freedom, develop habits that put you in control of your time and energy. And once you build those habits, your value starts to rise, not just in what you do, but in who you are. Your habits are your foundation. If they're weak, everything else in your life will feel shaky. But when they're strong, you feel in control. You stop reacting and start leading. You stop chasing approval and start trusting yourself. You walk into every room with quiet confidence because you know what you've built behind the scenes. And that confidence is rare. That's what makes you valuable, not just in the market, but in your own eyes. So if you want to upgrade your personal value, stop searching outside. Start looking at your daily behavior. Start taking full responsibility for every decision. Start building the kind of discipline that forces you to become better. No one can do that for you, but once you do it for yourself, your whole life will change. Not by chance, but by your own consistent, focused effort. And that's a power no one can take from you. Number 4, strengthen your self-respect through consistent daily work. Self-respect isn't something someone hands you. You don't earn it with words, with wishes, or with applause from others. You earn it by how you carry yourself when no one else is watching. You earn it by doing the work when it's hard, when it's boring, when it doesn't pay off right away. You earn it when you keep your promises to yourself. Every day you show up and follow through, your self-respect grows a little stronger. Not because you said something good, but because you did something right. Your confidence doesn't come from being liked or praised. It comes from knowing deep down that you did what needed to be done. You didn't cut corners. You didn't take the easy way out. You stood tall in your effort. That's what gives you pride. That's what builds the kind of self-worth that nobody can touch. It's earned through work, and not the flashy kind of work, but the quiet kind. The kind you repeat every morning and every night. The kind that most people skip because it's not exciting. When you skip the work, you don't just delay results. You weaken the relationship you have with yourself. You send a message to your own mind that your words don't mean much, that your goals aren't serious, that you're okay settling for less. But when you stay consistent, when you do the thing you said you would do, even when it's hard, you teach yourself that you can be trusted. And trust is the root of respect. If you don't trust your own actions, how can you respect the person in the mirror? Every time you train your body, you train your mind too. Every time you stay focused when others get distracted, you strengthen your discipline. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you build more of the person you want to become. You stop feeling like a fraud. You stop talking yourself down. You stop searching for validation. You start knowing your worth because you see what you do when no one is watching. And that private proof is stronger than public applause. Self-respect grows in the moments where you push yourself. It's not built on luck or timing. It's built on repetition. It's built on commitment. It's built by showing yourself that you can do hard things even when they don't bring quick rewards. You can't fake that. You can't skip the process. You can't talk your way into it. You earn it one small disciplined action at a time. You build it by doing what others won't, not to impress them, but to grow yourself. Too many people wait to feel good before they do what's right. But real growth works the other way. You do the right things first, and then the good feelings follow. You do the work first, and then the pride kicks in. You make the sacrifice first, and then the reward comes later. You don't wait to feel ready. You just start. You just do. You just show up for yourself because you know you're worth that kind of effort, even if no one else sees it. Self-respect isn't about being loud. It's about being real. It's quiet. It's steady. It's earned in solitude. When you wake up early to get ahead. When you stick to your values, even when it costs you. When you tell the truth, when a lie would be easier. When you stay disciplined, even when you're tired. That's when you build a foundation of respect. So solid that no failure can shake it and no opinion can break it. You can't demand self-respect. You can't pretend your way into it. You either live in alignment with your standards or you don't. And if your actions are out of alignment with your words, you'll feel it. You'll carry it. You'll look confident on the outside, but inside you'll know you're faking it, and that gap will eat at you. The only way to close that gap is to start acting like the person you say you want to be. Not once, not sometimes, but every single day. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about doing more today than you did yesterday. It's about cutting out the things that pull you backward. It's about tightening up your habits. It's about cleaning up your thinking. You know when you're wasting time. You know when you're letting yourself off the hook. You don't need someone else to tell you. You just need to stop ignoring it and start correcting it. Start making yourself proud. Your habits are the proof of your respect for yourself. If you care about your future, you'll protect your time. If you believe in your potential, you'll guard your focus. If you value your energy, you'll stop giving it to things that drain you. And the more you do that, the stronger your self-image becomes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who just talks. You become someone who acts, someone who moves, someone who builds. This isn't about ego. It's not about being better than anyone else. It's about being honest with yourself. Are you showing up the way you should be? Are you taking care of your health, your goals, your peace of mind? Are you living with integrity when no one's around? Because if you're not, that's the source of your low self-respect. Not other people, not the world, just you not following through on what you know you need to do. But the good news is that you can fix it. You can flip the script. You can start right now. Start with small actions. Clean up your space. Stick to your routine. Follow through on your goals, even if progress is slow. Speak to yourself with honesty. Set boundaries with people who disrespect your time. Show yourself that you matter by how you treat yourself. These are not dramatic moves. They're not flashy, but they're powerful, and they work. Not overnight, but over time. And that's what builds lasting strength. You won't feel strong every day. That's normal. But if you stay consistent, even through the hard days, you'll start to respect the person you're becoming. You'll stop chasing attention. You'll stop comparing yourself. You'll feel good in your own skin. You'll walk with clarity and calm because you'll know what you're made of. And that inner strength will show in how you carry yourself, how you speak, and how you respond to life. If you want to build self-respect, forget the shortcuts. Forget the hacks. Forget the approval. Just do the work. Daily. Without excuses. Without waiting for perfect conditions. Without needing applause. Just you and your effort. Quiet, steady, and honest. That's the path. And once you stay on that path long enough, You won't need to say a word. Your results will speak for you. Your presence will say everything, and your self-respect will be unshakable. Number 5. Develop your character before chasing any promotion. Most people spend all their energy trying to climb the ladder, but very few take the time to build the kind of character that can hold them steady once they reach the top. The truth is, promotions don't always go to the most deserving. They often go to the most prepared. And preparation isn't just about skill. It's about who you are when things get hard, when no one is watching, and when the pressure is on. You don't build that kind of strength by chasing titles. You build it by working on yourself first. If your character is weak, the higher you rise, the harder you'll fall. But if your character is strong, you can handle success with humility and failure without falling apart. You'll stay grounded because your worth isn't tied to a job title. It's tied to the kind of person you've built yourself to be. Honest, dependable, disciplined, and calm under fire. That's what holds you together when things around you start to shake. Before you think about leading others, learn to lead yourself. Can you control your emotions when you're frustrated? Can you stay focused when you're surrounded by distractions? Can you admit when you're wrong and take responsibility without blaming others? These are the tests of real strength. These are the qualities that people respect, not just because they look good, but because they're rare. When your goal is a promotion, your attention is external. You start looking around, comparing, trying to keep up, trying to impress. But when your focus is on developing your character, your attention turns inward. You ask yourself better questions. Am I growing into the kind of person I'd be proud to work for? Am I doing what's right, even when no one will ever know? That kind of thinking changes everything. You stop chasing approval and start living with integrity. Most people want to be in charge, but very few are willing to carry the weight of responsibility that comes with it. Because it's not just about making decisions. It's about living in a way that earns trust. If people can't trust your word, your discipline, your attitude, your effort, why should they follow you? Titles don't earn respect. Consistency does. Integrity does. Patience does. And none of that shows up overnight. If you want to grow, face the truth about yourself. What habits are holding you back? What patterns are you repeating that keep you stuck? Are you showing up every day with the same energy, or do you only bring your best when someone's watching? Are you blaming circumstances or owning your role in everything that happens in your life? Character isn't built in the big moments. It's revealed in the small ones. You don't become a leader by chance. You become one by choice, by choosing discipline over comfort, by choosing honesty over easy lies, by choosing delayed gratification over shortcuts. These are the choices that shape you. They don't always bring fast rewards, but they create something far more valuable than a promotion. They create a foundation for your future, one that no setback can destroy. You have to stop waiting for someone to recognize your worth and start becoming someone who's undeniable. Not because of flash, but because of substance. Your habits speak louder than your words. Your attitude shows people more than your resume ever could. And your discipline tells people exactly what kind of future you're building. If you want to move up, prove you're ready by how you handle where you are. Now, character is tested when you don't get what you want right away. It's tested when things don't go your way, when you're overlooked, when you're criticized. Do you fall apart, or do you rise higher? Do you complain, or do you grow stronger? Every disappointment is an opportunity to show the kind of person you really are. Not the kind of person you pretend to be when things are easy, but the one who rises up when life is hard. You can't cheat growth. You can't fake character. Eventually, everything hidden becomes obvious. You might fool others for a little while, but you can't fool yourself. And you definitely can't fool life. If you don't do the work to improve your thinking, your attitude, your emotional control, your discipline, then no title will ever be enough to make you feel whole, because the cracks will always show under pressure. You build real strength by being honest with yourself. Stop exaggerating your effort. Stop justifying your bad habits. Stop waiting for motivation. Start doing the hard things every single day. Wake up earlier. Think deeper. Stay focused longer. Speak with purpose. Act with integrity. These aren't suggestions. They're the cost of becoming someone who's truly ready for more. No one promotes you for your potential. They promote you for your patterns. If your pattern is laziness, you'll be passed over. If your pattern is excuse making, you'll be ignored. But if your pattern is excellence, consistent, humble, focused, strong, you won't have to ask for more. Your actions will speak for themselves. That's what you're working toward. Not a position, a presence. One that commands respect without saying a word. Start thinking long-term. Build habits today that your future self will thank you for. Stop chasing applause and start chasing alignment. Who are you when no one's watching? Who are you when life doesn't go your way? That's the version of you that matters. That's the version that either holds you back or pushes you forward. If you want more, become more. If you want to rise, go deeper. Grow your roots first, then your reach will take care of itself. Don't measure your progress by how fast you're moving. Measure it by how much better you're becoming. Are you more focused than you were last year? Are you more disciplined than you were last month? Are you making decisions that reflect your highest standards, not your temporary emotions? That's how you know you're on the right track. That's how you know you're developing the kind of character that can carry a heavy load. You're not working for a title. You're working to become someone who can't be ignored. Someone who brings value, not noise. Someone who lifts others, not just themselves. Someone who speaks with clarity, acts with discipline, and thinks with purpose. That kind of person always finds their way to the top. Not because they chase it, but because they've earned it. Step by step, day by day, decision by decision. So keep showing up. Keep doing the hard things. Keep making the kind of choices that raise your standards, even when no one claps for you. Because every disciplined action is adding something to you. Something you can't lose. Something that will matter more than any title. More than any paycheck. More than any praise. It's who you become that will carry you, not what you achieve. Build that person first. The rest will follow. Number 6. Invest time in learning skills outside your job. Most people spend their entire lives becoming great at one thing, doing what they're paid to do. They wake up, go to work, do what's expected, and repeat the cycle year after year. And they call that growth. But there's a hidden trap in that kind of life. If your value is tied only to your job, then your future is limited by the demands of that job. If that job disappears, if that industry changes, if your skills become outdated, where does that leave you? You must not build your identity only around what you do for a paycheck. You have to build your value around what you can bring to the table in any situation. And that means developing skills that go beyond the walls of your workplace. When you invest time in learning something new outside of your daily responsibilities, you're not just expanding your mind, you're expanding your future. You're no longer stuck waiting for opportunity. You start creating it. And that's a shift most people never make. They get comfortable. They tell themselves they're too tired, too busy, too old to learn anything new. But the people who grow, the ones who stay ahead, the ones who live life on their own terms, they never stop learning. They treat every hour after work as an investment in their next level. It might be a skill that seems unrelated to your current role. Maybe you're learning how to communicate more clearly. Maybe you're taking a course on financial literacy. Maybe you're diving into public speaking, leadership, negotiation, writing, or time management. Maybe you're learning how to build something from scratch. You don't have to know where it'll lead. The point is, you're building a toolbox that no one can take away from you. The more tools you have, the more doors you can open. And eventually, that toolbox will separate you from the crowd. When all you know is what your job taught you, you're replaceable. But when you can walk into any room, adapt, solve problems, offer insight, and create value, you become essential. You become someone people want to work with, learn from, and follow. And that kind of reputation can't be built overnight. It's built in the late hours. It's built in the quiet moments when you choose to study instead of scroll. It's built when you say no to short-term distractions because you're committed to long-term growth. There's a deep sense of power that comes from knowing that you can walk away from any situation and still have value. Not because of your title, not because of your resume, but because of what you've built inside yourself. That power comes from constantly expanding your knowledge and sharpening your abilities. You don't have to wait for someone to give you permission to grow. You don't need a manager's approval to develop a new skill. You can start today, right where you are, with what you have. The world is moving fast. Jobs are changing. Technology is shifting the landscape every year. What worked 5 years ago may not work tomorrow. And the people who will thrive are the ones who've trained themselves to adapt. They're not afraid of change because they've prepared for it. They've spent years building skills that give them leverage. They've built confidence through consistent effort. And that confidence can't be faked. It's earned by doing the work, even when it's not required. Too many people wait until they're forced to change before they grow. They wait for a crisis, a layoff, a setback. Don't wait for life to push you. Push yourself now. Because learning something new is not just about gaining information. It's about transforming your identity. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought, that you're not stuck, that your potential hasn't peaked, that there's still more in you waiting to come out. Your free time is your future, and how you use it tells the truth about how serious you are. You can waste it in entertainment and distraction, or you can invest it into skill and growth. One leads to regret. The other leads to power, real power, the kind that doesn't depend on a boss, a system, or a title. The kind that comes from knowing how to create results wherever you go. Don't fall for the lie that your job is the only place to learn. The internet has made it possible for anyone, anywhere, to learn anything. You've got access to the greatest teachers in the world, often for free or at a low cost. Books, videos, podcasts, online programs, communities, resources are everywhere. The only thing missing is your decision to start. And once you decide, you'll realize that every bit of progress builds momentum. The more you learn, the more curious you become. The more curious you are, the faster you grow. And it's not just about the technical skills. It's also about learning emotional intelligence, mental discipline, leadership, and creativity. These are the skills that make you valuable in any industry. These are the skills that separate the average from the exceptional, and they are completely within your reach if you choose to pursue them. The goal is not just to be useful today. The goal is to be prepared for tomorrow. And that starts by making learning a non-negotiable part of your life. When you become someone who invests in themselves daily, something changes in how you see yourself. You stop waiting to be chosen. You start choosing yourself. You start thinking bigger, acting bolder, and expecting more, because you know you've earned it. You've paid the price in time, effort, and sacrifice. And that self-respect becomes the foundation for a better life. So don't waste another year stuck in the same cycle. Pick one skill, one area you've always wanted to improve, and commit to it daily. Not occasionally. Not when it's easy. Daily, even if it's just 30 minutes. Because 30 minutes a day over the course of a year is more than 180 hours. That's enough time to master something that could change your life forever. But only if you start, only if you stay with it, only if you decide that your growth matters more than your comfort. You're not just learning for now, you're preparing for everything ahead. And no one can do that work for you. But the moment you take it seriously, the moment you stop making excuses, is the moment your life begins to change. Every skill you build gives you more options. Every habit of learning adds to your confidence. And every day you grow outside of your job is another step toward becoming someone no job can define or limit. This is your time to grow beyond the ordinary. This is your chance to separate from the average. Don't let comfort steal your future. Build it by becoming someone who never stops learning. That's how you create a life that can't be taken from you. That's how you win on your terms. Number 7, face your weaknesses and work to fix them. Most people spend their lives running from what makes them uncomfortable. They build walls around their flaws, cover up their insecurities with distractions, and pretend their weaknesses don't exist. But pretending doesn't fix anything. It just postpones the truth, and the truth always comes back. Louder, sharper, and more painful. If you want to grow into someone powerful, someone reliable, someone deeply respected by themselves and others, you have to stop hiding from the areas where you're weak. You have to face yourself without filters and decide that you're not going to live with your limitations anymore. You can't build real strength on top of denial. It doesn't matter how successful you appear, how much praise you get, or how well you can perform in some areas of life. If there are cracks in your character, they will show up eventually. And when they do, they'll cost you opportunities, relationships, inner peace. The real work begins when you stop asking the world to adjust to your weaknesses and start holding yourself accountable for changing them. That takes courage. That takes humility. And that takes the kind of self-respect most people never develop because they're too afraid of seeing what's broken inside them. Weakness isn't something to be ashamed of. It's something to confront. You are not defined by your flaws, but you are responsible for fixing them. Maybe your weakness is procrastination. Maybe you avoid hard conversations. Maybe you give up too quickly. Maybe you rely too much on others for validation. Maybe you let fear dictate your decisions. Whatever it is, if you can identify it, you can change it. And that's the first step to real transformation. Radical self-honesty. You have to be willing to say, this part of me is not good enough, and I'm not going to let it stay that way. Growth doesn't begin with your strengths. It begins with your willingness to improve where you struggle the most. That's where your breakthroughs happen. That's where confidence is built. Every time you confront a weakness and work through it, you gain strength that no one can give you. Strength earned from the inside lasts longer than any reward from the outside. You're not working on yourself for applause. You're doing it because you want to respect the person you see in the mirror. You want to trust yourself fully. And that trust only comes when you know you're fixing what's wrong, not ignoring it. Facing your weaknesses doesn't mean beating yourself up. It means choosing improvement over ego. It means trading comfort for progress. It means doing the hard work that others avoid because you're not here to remain the same. You're here to evolve. And evolution is never painless. It's uncomfortable to admit where you've been soft. It stings to realize how much time you've wasted pretending to have it together. But every moment you spend in honest self-reflection is an investment in your future. It's a declaration that you're not here to play small. You're here to become strong in every way that matters. Don't wait for life to expose your weaknesses. That kind of lesson is harsh. If you procrastinate too long, life will force you to learn through failure. It'll take away what you couldn't handle and make you start over. That's why you need to be proactive. Look at yourself with clear eyes. Ask hard questions. What am I avoiding? What patterns keep showing up? What part of me is holding me back from going further? What excuse have I convinced myself to believe that I know deep down is just a shield for laziness or fear? Fixing a weakness doesn't mean changing overnight. It means committing to consistent effort every single day. It means practicing patience while demanding effort. You'll fall short. You'll slip. But if you stay honest and keep correcting yourself, you'll improve. Slowly, your mind will rewire. Your habits will shift. What once felt impossible will become normal. And that's how strength is built. Not by pretending you're already strong, but by facing what's weak and pushing yourself to do better. There's a quiet power in someone who's disciplined enough to deal with their own flaws. It shows in their actions. They don't flinch under pressure. They don't make excuses. They don't blame others because they've already battled themselves. They've already gone to war with their inner limitations. And that kind of self-discipline can't be faked. It's built through repetition, through discomfort, through an unshakable desire to become a better human being. Not just for success, but for integrity. The longer you delay addressing your weaknesses, the deeper they grow into your identity. And soon, they start affecting how you see the world. You begin to filter reality through fear, insecurity, and self-doubt. You start expecting less, settling more, and giving up quicker. That's what happens when you let your weaknesses define you. But when you start facing them head on, your view of yourself begins to shift. You don't see limitations. You see opportunities to grow. You don't avoid pressure. You seek it, knowing that's where strength is developed. This work isn't glamorous. It's not flashy. No one's clapping for you when you choose to improve in silence. But the rewards are internal. The rewards are deep. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to act with more clarity. You stop second-guessing every decision. You start respecting yourself because you know you're doing the hard work that most people avoid. And that kind of self-respect becomes the foundation for everything else. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating weakness. You stop settling for mediocrity. You stop making peace with patterns that keep you small. Every weakness you fix frees up mental energy. Every flaw you correct builds inner peace. You begin to carry yourself differently, not out of pride, but out of clarity. You know who you are. You know what you've fixed, and you know what you're still working on. You don't pretend to be perfect, but you also don't hide from what needs to be improved. That's maturity. That's growth. That's the mindset that builds a powerful, grounded, resilient person. If you want to change your life, start with yourself. If you want to become unstoppable, confront what's stopping you internally. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to begin. Pick one weakness and work on it until it's no longer a limitation. Then move on to the next. Keep going. Keep building. Keep transforming. Not for attention, but for alignment. Not for applause, but for integrity. The work you do on yourself is the most important work you'll ever do. And the sooner you begin, the faster your life will shift. Don't wait. Don't hide. Don't settle. Face it and fix it. Number 8, train your focus to control your daily actions. Most people wake up and move through their day without ever truly directing their attention. They react to what happens, they bounce between distractions, and they waste hours without realizing what they've given up. Focus isn't something that just shows up on its own. It's a skill, and like any skill, it needs to be trained. If you don't train your focus, your day will always control you. Your mind will chase every noise, every notification, every pointless urge. But when you learn to take control of your focus, you take control of your decisions. And when you control your decisions, you control your life. The power to direct your attention is one of the most valuable advantages you can develop. It separates the people who live with purpose from those who live in chaos. Nothing meaningful gets done without deliberate attention. You can't build habits, finish projects, improve your discipline, or grow your mind if your focus is always scattered. If your mind is always pulled toward what's urgent instead of what matters, you'll constantly feel busy, but accomplish nothing important. You'll start your day with good intentions and end it feeling like you got nowhere. That cycle will repeat until you decide to break it. You don't break it by trying harder. You break it by becoming intentional about what you focus on. Start with one clear goal every day. Something simple but meaningful. Something that requires your full attention. Before the noise starts, commit yourself to that goal. Don't just think about it. Act on it. Turn off distractions. Block out time. Respect your own mind enough to give it space to concentrate. This isn't just about productivity. It's about self-respect. You show yourself respect when you stop wasting your attention on things that add no value to your life. Your focus is one of your greatest forms of energy. Where it goes, your actions follow. And where your actions go, your future is shaped. When your focus is sharp, you can complete in 2 hours what others struggle with all day. You move with direction instead of confusion. You stop trying to do everything and start doing the right things. That clarity compounds over time. It shows up in your consistency, your habits, your results. People notice, not because you say more, but because you do more with less. Focus allows you to cut through noise. It allows you to say no to what doesn't matter. It gives you the freedom to own your choices instead of being pulled around by impulse. Training focus is like building a muscle. You don't do it once and expect to be strong forever. You train it daily, every time you resist a distraction, every time you stay with one task longer than your comfort allows. Every time you complete something you started, you're reinforcing the discipline to control your mind. You're rewiring your brain to prioritize depth over stimulation. Most people are addicted to switching tasks, not because it helps them, but because their brain has been conditioned to seek novelty over progress. That cycle has to be broken, and it starts with one decision at a time. There's no secret technique. It's not about finding the perfect app or tool. It's about eliminating what drains your mental clarity. Remove what scatters your mind. Cut down the clutter. Put your phone out of sight. Clean your environment. Declutter your priorities. When you stop trying to juggle too many things, you give yourself the mental bandwidth to focus with depth. And depth leads to results. It's not about how much you do. It's about how well you do the things that actually count. Focus makes that possible. Most distractions don't show up as obvious time wasters. They disguise themselves as small tasks, unnecessary checking, endless scrolling, or jumping between projects. They seem harmless in the moment, but they chip away at your clarity. They weaken your momentum. Every time you switch tasks for no reason, you drain your brain's energy. And once your mental energy is low, your decision-making gets sloppy. That's when excuses start. That's when self-doubt creeps in. And that's when you lose control of your day. Focus protects you from that spiral. It keeps you grounded. It reminds you of what matters when everything else tries to steal your attention. If you want to stay in control of your life, you have to stay in control of your attention. Nothing steals time like unconscious behavior. You think you're just checking something for a second, but an hour disappears. You think you'll multitask your way through the day, but you never give anything your full effort. The brain doesn't thrive in chaos. It thrives when you give it structure, when you give it rest, and when you give it a single point of focus. That's when your thoughts become sharp. That's when your work becomes powerful. That's when your time becomes valuable again. Most of your frustration in life doesn't come from lack of ability. It comes from lack of direction. You start things you don't finish. You jump between ideas. You overthink decisions. You delay action. And all of that begins with scattered focus. If you want to break that pattern, you have to take full responsibility for where your attention goes. Don't blame distractions. Don't blame your environment. Own your decisions. Take control of your inputs. Make focus your standard. When you decide to live with focus, everything changes. You stop living on autopilot and start living with precision. Your goals don't require perfect conditions. They require consistent focus. If you can bring your attention to the same priorities every day, you'll improve faster than people who constantly chase new things. You don't need a million plans. You need one plan with relentless execution. Focus gives you that power. Focus turns simple actions into massive progress over time. That's how people build discipline. That's how they build results others can't compete with. Not through talent, but through undistracted, daily effort that adds up. When you control your focus, you stop wasting your energy on things that don't serve your future. You stop giving your best hours to meaningless tasks. You begin to reserve your strength for what actually builds you. Your priorities become non-negotiable. Your goals become more than just ideas. They become commitments. Focus is what turns commitments into action, and action is what builds the life you want. If you keep chasing every noise, you'll always feel behind. But if you can train yourself to focus, you'll start leading yourself to a future you're proud of. The mind wants to wander. That's natural. But strength comes from how often you bring it back. How often you remind yourself that your time matters, that your attention is limited, that your goals require daily work. Don't give your energy away to things that have no return. Choose focus. Choose discipline. Choose clarity. You're not here to be average. You're here to be effective. And effectiveness starts with mastering the art of attention. Every focused moment builds the next version of you. Don't waste it. Train it and protect it like your future depends on it, because it does. Number 9, create daily goals that improve your personal growth. Most people want to grow, but they never take the time to plan how they'll do it. They wake up with hopes, but not with direction. They carry ambition, but not structure. And so they move through their days busy, but unfocused, active, but not advancing. Real personal growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens when you deliberately shape your actions with clear intentions. That's why setting daily goals for your personal growth is one of the most powerful habits you can build. Because without goals, you drift. But with them, you direct your energy toward becoming a better version of yourself. Creating daily goals isn't about chasing perfection. It's about building momentum. You set goals to keep yourself grounded, to bring clarity to your priorities, and to avoid the trap of just going through the motions. Without that, the day controls you. The noise, the demands, the distractions, they all pull you in different directions. But when you start your morning with one personal growth goal, everything changes. You're no longer guessing what matters. You're choosing what matters. That simple shift gives your mind something to aim for. And when your mind has an aim, your actions follow. You don't need to write a list of 20 things. You don't need to create some complicated routine. Start with one daily goal that makes you stretch just enough to grow. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a book that challenges your thinking. Maybe it's having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Maybe it's pushing yourself physically to test your endurance. Maybe it's waking up early without excuses. Whatever it is, the key is to make it personal. Your goal must align with who you want to become, not just what you want to do. That's the difference between motion and transformation. The power of a daily goal is that it brings urgency to your growth. It doesn't let you hide behind the illusion that you'll improve someday. It forces you to take ownership. Now, it gives your day a target that has nothing to do with anyone else's expectations. It becomes a personal contract. You're not doing it for likes, applause, or validation. You're doing it to earn your own respect. And when you build that kind of internal standard, you stop looking for permission to grow. You stop waiting for the right time. You begin becoming the person you've always had the potential to be. Daily goals also keep you honest. They expose your excuses. They reveal your patterns. If you say you want to grow but keep skipping the actions that help you grow, that contradiction becomes impossible to ignore. That's the beauty of daily goals. They create accountability, not to the outside world, but to yourself. And that's the highest form of accountability there is. You learn to show up even when no one is watching. You learn to do the work even when it's uncomfortable. That consistency builds trust within yourself. And once you trust yourself, there's no limit to how far you can grow. The best daily goals are the ones that challenge your thinking, improve your habits, and sharpen your discipline. They don't need to be dramatic. They just need to be meaningful. Every small action you take compounds. A 10-minute reflection today builds self-awareness over time. A few minutes of focused breathing builds mental control. Writing your thoughts for 5 minutes builds clarity. Doing one uncomfortable task builds confidence. Growth isn't always visible in the moment, but when you stay consistent, it shows up in your posture, your mindset, your conversations, and your ability to handle life with strength. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can build in a year. The purpose of setting daily goals isn't to impress anyone. It's to keep yourself aligned. One focused step each day will take you further than 100 scattered ones. You stop chasing distractions. You start protecting your attention. You begin filtering out what doesn't help you evolve. And you become the type of person who lives with clarity instead of chaos. That shift won't happen overnight, but it will happen if you stay committed to your growth. You'll notice something else when you create daily growth goals. You stop comparing yourself to others. You're no longer measuring your life against someone else's timeline. You're measuring your progress against who you were yesterday. That's where real confidence is built. Not in outperforming others, but in outgrowing your former self. Every day becomes an opportunity to take one more step forward. Some days you'll move fast. Other days you'll crawl. But the direction matters more than the speed. As long as you're still growing, you're still winning. The more you commit to daily growth goals, the more disciplined you become with your time. You stop tolerating distractions. You stop wasting hours on meaningless tasks. You begin to prioritize growth over comfort. You wake up with purpose instead of passively waiting for motivation to find you. You develop the habit of doing hard things without needing to feel inspired. That discipline becomes your advantage. In a world full of shortcuts, you choose the path of steady improvement. That choice separates you from the crowd. It makes you powerful in a quiet, unshakable way. There's nothing stopping you from becoming who you want to be, except the time you spend avoiding the work. One daily goal can help you break that pattern. It gives you structure. It eliminates overwhelm. It helps you focus your energy instead of scattering it. When you set a daily goal with intention, you start your day with clarity. You move through it with discipline, and you end it with a sense of accomplishment. That momentum spills into the next day, and the day after. And before long, you look back and realize how far you've come. Most people only think about growth when things go wrong. But you're not waiting for life to push you. You're pushing yourself every single day. That's the mindset that separates winners from wanderers. You're not hoping for improvement. You're building it. Brick by brick, choice by choice, day by day. And it all starts with one daily goal. Not a wish, not a vague intention, but a decision to grow. Today, do that enough. And you won't need to talk about who you're becoming. It'll be obvious. Because the work you've done in silence will speak louder than anything you could ever say. Number 10. Commit to self-mastery more than job performance. When you dedicate yourself to self-mastery, you unlock a level of personal control and discipline that goes far beyond just excelling in your job. Most people chase the immediate rewards, promotions, praise, recognition. But those who commit to self-mastery are focused on building something much more powerful and enduring. Self-mastery is the process of refining your mind, body, and spirit to operate with precision, intent, and resilience. It's about mastering yourself before trying to master any external task, whether that's a job, a project, or a relationship. The difference is subtle but profound. Focusing on self-mastery doesn't mean neglecting your responsibilities or job performance. In fact, it enhances them, but it shifts the foundation from external expectations to internal growth. When you commit to developing yourself every day, physically, mentally, and emotionally, you raise your baseline. The work you produce, the results you achieve, and the way you handle challenges will naturally reflect the strength and wisdom you've built within. The world often asks for quick fixes and instant results. Job performance is typically measured by external outcomes. Deadlines met, tasks completed, sales made, but true success doesn't come solely from meeting those goals. It comes from cultivating the deeper qualities that allow you to consistently perform at your highest level, regardless of what's going on around you. Mastering yourself gives you the ability to face every challenge with poise and skill, not because you're relying on external factors, but because you've developed the internal resources to handle anything that comes your way. When you commit to self-mastery, you're prioritizing long-term growth over short-term rewards. You're focused on building habits that serve your highest potential. Think about the difference between someone who constantly reacts to stress and someone who has mastered their responses. The person who has cultivated self-mastery is able to stay calm under pressure, make decisions with clarity, and maintain focus despite distractions. This is the power that comes from developing yourself first and foremost. The job will always be there, but your ability to perform at your peak comes from what you're doing when no one is watching. Self-mastery means putting the work into developing the right mindset. This involves a deep commitment to discipline, focus, and mental clarity. It's about waking up every day with the intention to grow in small ways, regardless of the external demands on your time. A strong mindset doesn't come from external praise. It's built through daily practice. It's about mastering your thoughts, cultivating positive habits, and continually evolving in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Your mindset directly influences your behavior, and your behavior determines your results. If you've mastered your habits, your daily routines become the foundation for your job performance. But even if the job shifts or changes in scope, you'll be able to adapt because the skills you've developed through self-mastery remain constant. You've already invested in the internal systems that allow you to navigate change, to stay focused, to be resilient. No external setback will shake you because your foundation is grounded in who you are, not what you do. Self-mastery also extends to emotional control. When you're not in control of your emotions, you react impulsively. When you're emotionally balanced, you can process information clearly, think critically, and make decisions from a place of reason rather than reactivity. The world is filled with distractions, but self-mastery enables you to quiet the noise and stay aligned with your purpose. It makes it easier to filter out the unnecessary, to stay grounded in what matters, and to continue pushing forward even when life gets chaotic. Investing in self-mastery also means taking care of your body. Your physical health directly impacts your ability to perform in all areas of life, including work. By committing to physical wellness, you improve your energy, focus, and overall well-being. But more importantly, you develop a deep sense of self-respect. When you commit to taking care of yourself, whether through exercise, sleep, or nutrition, you're demonstrating to yourself that you value your growth. This commitment to your body, your mind, and your spirit becomes the bedrock upon which all other achievements are built. When you prioritize self-mastery over job performance, you're no longer trying to do everything perfectly, because you understand that perfection isn't the goal. Growth is. Every day offers an opportunity to improve. When you have the patience to commit to gradual, continuous improvement, you naturally find success. But more importantly, you find fulfillment. It becomes less about chasing results and more about enjoying the journey of becoming your best self. This mindset frees you from the constant pressure to perform in ways that don't align with your true values and long-term vision. Self-mastery, ultimately, is about internal leadership. When you can lead yourself, when you know how to manage your time, your emotions, your focus, and your energy, you are prepared to excel in any job or task you undertake. The external performance will follow because you've already laid the groundwork within yourself. The key is to keep raising your standards for who you are, not just what you do. A person who masters themselves does not settle for mediocrity. They don't look for shortcuts or easy outs. They understand that true success comes from a deep, intrinsic commitment to personal growth. You'll begin to see that the more you commit to self-mastery, the more the job becomes secondary. You're no longer attached to the idea of what you're supposed to achieve or what others expect of you. You're focused on how you can consistently improve your own skills, mindset, and discipline. The rewards, be it a promotion, recognition, or growth in your work, are merely a reflection of the inner work you've done. But your identity is never tied to those things. It's tied to your ability to show up as the best version of yourself every day. As you develop self-mastery, your job performance will improve naturally. But more importantly, you'll feel empowered, focused, and aligned. You'll realize that the work itself is just a reflection of your deeper journey. And no matter where you are in life, that will always be your greatest asset, the knowledge that you have control over who you are, and the ability to consistently grow into the best version of yourself. This level of self-mastery not only transforms your professional life, but your personal life as well, making every aspect of your existence stronger, clearer, and more purposeful.